Hey all, it's Jan of the Jan File. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to focus on the Epstein files. And look, I know there is a lot to talk about. This shit, it's every day there's some new shit. But I'm just going to say right now that we've been dropping the ball, and I include myself. Even though I made a video on Epstein a couple days ago, we need to refocus because there's too much going on here not to. And it's too important. And it is the subject matter that there is a consistent agreement on from MAGA Republicans, regular, well, I don't know if there are any regular Republicans, Democrats, independents, it doesn't matter. Everybody wants more on the Epstein files. Okay. So we need to oblige them. But bigger and more important than that is we need to really come back and support these victims, because after reading once again today what is now the well, no, it's not unredacted, but they are the handwritten notes that Katie Fang has been asking for, have come to light on Scribd. Now, Scribd is an internet site where you can, hold files, etc. And that's where they were put in March of 2026 by a reporter who works for the Washington Examiner. Now, I'm not sure how to say his name correctly, but I'm going to say it anyway. Kalen Deese. And so he said he got them from a DOJ source. Now, these are the very same notes that Katie Fang has requested directly from the DOJ that is now involved with a lawsuit against the DOJ with Judge Emmett Sullivan is presiding. The DOJ has been consistently not answering the judge, not showing up with the required information they're supposed to show up. The next hearing is the September 3rd. That's what we all need to stay tuned for. But I just want to say, I read some of the notes again today because they are also in the Epstein files, but there's a type. When you read what this woman said in 2019, that's when these notes were taken. They were taken over 4 different days. And allegedly, they were treated very seriously by the FBI. Now, what that meant at that time actually became nothing because they didn't do anything about it. But they met with her 4 times. So somebody at the top pulled the plug. Was that Bill Barr? Because that's who was in charge at the time. He was the attorney general. And so we don't know. Right now we don't know. But the point is that these files are out. They're, once again, as you read them, you realize just how horrifying the whole thing is. And that this young woman who was from South Carolina was trafficked between New York and Palm Beach County. And so I don't know that this new version, and even though they've been researched, a data person has looked at them, they feel that they are legitimate. I can tell you that Katie Fang is not moving forward as if these are the quote real documents, because she wants to get them from the FBI. But for my purposes, for your purposes, I certainly think because they are what's already been released plus. And that's the thing. There's a plus here, because what the DOJ is claiming is that these notes were substantially the same, as the typed up. They basically didn't really change anything. Yeah, right. So anyway, that's a new development. And the other new development as of today, the Bank of America has to pay $72.5 million to the survivor. Okay, all that's well and good, but we have some things we have to do. Because what I am finding is that we're getting distracted by Natalie Hart. We're getting distracted by the Iran war. And we're getting distracted now by Lake America, or whatever nonsense this idiot shows up with every day. And I know it's really hard. I mean, it's like, how can you not say something about some of the things he's doing, and especially the voting by mail? But we can do more than one thing at a time. But we must start focusing once again on Epstein. Because the reality is, even I have no idea what's going to happen with the DOJ. The judge is threatening to charge them with contempt. And now contempt can mean people can get jailed or they can get fined. I'm not sure what else it could be, but that's my knowledge of what can happen if the judge declares contempt. Okay. Then what? Who's going to enforce that? I don't know. Do we think the DOJ is going to enforce that? Likely not. Can the marshals, the court, there are marshals that are part of the court system. Can they? I don't know. But what I do know is that there's the possibility that the Manhattan District Attorney, which is Alvin Bragg still, could potentially open his own investigation based on these notes, because she was in New York, in Epstein's mansion. And there is literally no reason why he couldn't do this. Now, charging Donald Trump and all that, that's where the problem would be, because he's a sitting president. But, I don't think that we should just assume a lot of this. Even if the Supreme Court, let's just play this out a minute. Let's say that it goes down and Trump takes it to the Supreme Court, and of course their heads are all up his ass at once. It's like, it could be that they say, okay, no, you can't do this now, you can do this later. But in the meantime, because 2028 is coming up pretty quickly and investigations take a long time, we should be looking to some of these local prosecutors. Local, in the case of, Manhattan, it's a local prosecutor. Now, in the case of Palm Beach County, which is also where some of these alleged crimes occurred, Palm Beach County, which is Florida's 15th Circuit district, the prosecutor there is a Democrat and a black woman. And so she could do the same. Now, that one's would get dicier, because it's obviously the same place that made that deal. What was that? 18 years ago, with am I adding right? It was 2007, 2008. So, anyway, that is the same office. Now, it's run by a completely different human being. There are different people within it. That was a long time ago. So there is an opportunity to take this out of the DOJ's hands. I am not a lawyer. I looked up and did as much research as I can. I'm in no position to pay a lawyer to find out what's possible. But I do believe that this is the kinds of conversations we should be having in reference to the Epstein files. Because again, the oversight committee, although hopefully as of January, there will be different people in there, right now is doing next to nothing. They are not holding any more hearings, I guess, except for maybe Leon Black, who they subpoena. And they have asked the victim to provide them with affidavits saying that Leslie Goff, who is one of Jeffrey Epstein's assistants, lied to the committee. Again, what does it mean when, James Comer asked for these? He's the Republican who's head of the committee. I don't know. I don't know how they feel, because at this point, why do we have to rely on them? We should be investigating and calling out anybody that's in the Epstein files and bringing them in. And I mean, obviously, you have to be judicious about it. You have to, because there are other names in there that are clearly not people who engaged in this behavior. But the point is, folks, we cannot stopped. I know it's double negative. We have to continue to talk about the Epstein file. We have to continue to push, to quote, to show what this young woman endured, who is now a woman, obviously, at the time. And in the handwritten notes, it doesn't just say that was that one time when, Trump, she was left in a room with Trump and he wanted her to give him a blowjob and she bit him. It says also in those notes that there were 2 more times with Trump. Now, I didn't see that in the first set, and I may be wrong, but you know what? We should all be quoting this. We should all be sharing this. And I hope that you will join me in doing this, but because we cannot abdicate our responsibility to support these women. And I don't mean I know everybody that I'm talking to has the heart that wants to do the right thing. And I understand how frustrating it is given the time it's taking and all the other crap that's happening and how you have to figure out what you're going to share or do today. But please, let's refocus on the Epstein files. Let's refocus on these women who are counting on us. And if you have suggestions that I haven't mentioned, please share them. Please, let me know what you think, because we have to do more. We have to do more. And those are my comments for today. Take care. Be in touch. I'll see you soon.